Hey there guys, welcome back to another video here at Top Tier Garage. Today I'll be showing you how to replace the water pump on a 2006 Honda Foreman Rubicon. It looks like a very straightforward and simple process, but I have not seen any videos of it online. So I figured to give an in-depth tutorial on how to do it. So let's get to it. So the water pump is located on the front side of the motor right here. And it's got a little thing that sits in on the inside, so it should go in there just like this, I believe. So in order to get easier access, I'm actually going to be pulling off this cover right here, this cover, and probably this front one. So you guys can get a better look at exactly what it looks like. All right, so now that I got everything, all the plastic stripped out, I'm gonna show you guys how exactly to strip all these plastics down. The one that you're definitely gonna need to do is the one that sits right in here, and that kind of will get in the way when you're pulling it out. So it has one that goes inside this grommet up here. You can just pull it out easily. But then these two are tucked behind the fender, right there and right there. And then my bottom one was not in, but you could easily just slide it out this way through the engine side. So now, in order to remove the side tank cover, the first thing you gotta do is pull off the pull starter. It's just super easy to pull this off. It sits with 3 grommets, here, here, and here on the tank. So this sits right in here. There's a grommet, or one of those little plastic rivets that go through here. Right up there. The angle is forcing down on the fender here. And you gotta be kind of tricky with this tank, because in order for it to work, you have to pull back first, pop these guys out, and then you actually have to push it forward in order to get that front clip out. So you could easily break off that front clip if you keep trying to force it back and out. And these are brand new OEM plastics, so you don't really wanna break off any tabs. This four-wheeler has come a long way. It used to be an old beat-up farm four-wheeler. I put new plastics on it. I redid all of this stuff. If you guys want to follow along, I have a playlist on the channel that you can check out. But now we can easily see where the water pump is, and that is right here. So the next step will be to take off the hose clamps. There's going to be one right here, and then one out the side here. All right, so I can actually not get to the top little hose clamp due to the fact that it's tucked directly underneath here. So I'm gonna have to probably drop this out and over and kind of bring it down. But as you can see, just hold on by 3 10mm bolts. So it should be pretty easy to drop it out. Ooh. So that was not the correct one. That was a drain bolt. Beautiful. Guess got to drain anyways. All right, so I finally got all 3 of the bolts out and transferred to this new one. You don't have to keep track of them because they are all the same exact length. So I found something super easy. There is a wire harness that comes up through here. You just got to fold in 2 tabs and you can pull it down. You can get to the top bolt super easy. And also this little worm drive clamp that just takes a Phillips head screwdriver for the main outlet of the pump. It makes it super easy to get to. So now I'm gonna take off that front line, and then you should be able to just pry, and it should just pop right out due to the fact that the only thing holding it in there is a small O-ring. For the reservoir, it just has a super simple clip. When I pried it out, I push it down, but This is exactly what I was expecting. So if you go back to the original videos of when I first got this, you hear a bunch of knocking and stuff like that. And it sounds like almost something like clanking around the engine. Well, at first I thought it was the valves, but this is what I found. So I took out the old water pump, took it apart. One fin is completely smashed off, bent up. This one's missing also. So now, when I opened up the water pump, there was nothing that fell out inside. So we're gonna have to do a complete coolant flush to try and find out where these missing fins went. So it should be fun. Great. All right, so we did luck out a little bit. I did find both the fins that were broken off the pump and that were rattling around in there, and that's what was making that noise that I thought was the valves on the very first video. I'll run a little recording of what I heard. So basically, this pump, the outlet here is big enough where they can fit through, but between the water pump and the block, they have this small little spacer that goes right in here, that guy right there. So basically, in order to get them out, you could use a small fishing line or something like that, but I actually took out the thermostat, and right there is the line that goes to the front through that engine block. So what I did was I put a rag over the top of it and used some compressed air and basically pressurized the system. And because these fins were wedged in here sideways, it actually created some pressure, and then the whole thing just popped out, and I was able to knock them out with a screwdriver because I knew that those fins, I'm glad they stayed whole, but they'll never be able to get past the thermostat, so it'll save your radiator from clogging up and all that good stuff. But yeah, so now just got to replace the O-rings on this little spacer, and the new water pump's going in. So now, say if you didn't actually take the time to flush those guys out, what could happen is they could actually backfeed into this new pump and basically just destroy the fins, just like last time. You're stuck with more metal debris floating around. So that is why Honda actually recommends, if your water pump is leaking, just to replace the entire thing, not to replace the seals. And I believe it is due to the fact that the water pumps actually do like to blow up like that. So now, new water pump's going in. All right, so I did not get a video of me installing it, but it's a pretty straightforward process. The only thing you really have to look for when you're installing it is make sure this is lined up with your cam itself. So it should slip in super easy, but if it feels like it's fighting you and there's a lot of space in between there, what you can do is move the cam by using the recoil on the Rubicon, or taking it out and kind of turning it, because it'll eventually fit inside that. It should slip in because the only thing you're overcoming is the force of this O-ring. Just number one thing is not to force it, and then you got your 2 hose clamps, and then your main infeed, and then your 3 bolts. Just basically reverse exactly how it came out, and you should be good to go. You can actually check that it is spinning by, once it's fully installed, you just keep this hose off. You can point your camera down it and pull the recoil, and you can actually see the fins inside spinning. So if you did that, everything should be good to go, and congratulations, you just replaced the water pump. Thanks for watching Top Tier Garage.